All right, we're going to get started. Thank you all for joining me today for this stretch and roll class. We're going to be focusing on our neck and our shoulders. And anytime we focus on neck and shoulders, we're really talking about how to improve our posture and reduce any tension in that area. So we'll be starting today with a little bit of a posture check. Besides the neck and the shoulder areas, we're also going to be focusing on the rhomboids. So if you don't remember your high school anatomy, your rhomboids are these muscles on either side of your spine, in between your spine and your shoulder blades. So it's kind of this meaty part here. And the reason we also want to focus on the rhomboids is the main reason we have poor posture is we spend a lot of our life sitting like this, driving like this, typing like this, reading like this, sitting and watching TV like this. So we want to be able to loosen up and strengthen those rhomboids because then that helps bring our shoulders back, open our chest up. If we can correct our posture here, our head can come back into alignment. Your head weighs about 10 pounds. And for every half inch or inch that it's coming forward, it's putting a lot of pressure right here on the base of your spine. So we want to make sure that we can tuck our chin back, shoulders back, bringing those shoulder blades a little bit more together. And hopefully that will reduce any tension by improving our posture. So we're going to start today with a posture check. We're going to be working with our towel. We're going to have a couple exercises with your racquetball or your tennis ball. And if you have a long sock, we're going to put the ball inside the sock. Just as another fun way to position the ball so that we can put it on our back and it's not rolling all over the place. For a foam roller, I'm going to be using my biggest foam roller. This one's quite soft. You can see it's 36 inches, about 6 inches around. If you've been doing a lot of foam rolling, you can start graduating up to harder foam rollers, the ones with the bumps all over them. I have one here. This one is quite sturdy, and you can see it kind of has some textured bumps. I do this for my legs, for other areas that maybe aren't so tender, but for neck and shoulders, I'm going to stick with a softer one today. And then for a towel, I'm just using a kitchen towel. If you have an extra pair of leggings, if you want something with a little bit of stretch, that will work as well. And that's it besides our mat. I would suggest also having some water with you because as we're stretching, hopefully by the end of this, you're going to feel like you kind of had a full body massage or at least an upper body massage. And you know, after you have a massage, they always tell you drink water, drink tea, something like that to just clear out that lactic acid. So let us get started here. We're going to start with just a basic posture check. So just come to a standing position and stand how you would normally stand. Arms hanging at your sides, and just kind of become aware of this is kind of how I stand. Where your shoulders are they kind of hunched forward? Are your hips forward? Are your hips back? Where does your chin normally fall? So when I'm just standing normally, I'm going to take one finger and I'm going to put it just on the end of my chin. I'm not doing anything, just putting that finger on the end of my chin. Now I'm not going to move my finger, but I am going to tuck my chin back. So hold that finger in that position and now purposely tuck your chin back as if you're drawing your ears to be in line with your shoulders. Now you can move that finger. How much did it move? Did it move a half inch? Did it move 1 inch back? Go ahead and put that fingertip on the end of that chin again. One more time. Tuck that chin back. You're literally trying to make a double chin here. Shoulders down and away from those ears. Once again, touch that chin to that fingertip that chin. And one more time, we're going to tuck that chin back even further. The biggest double chin that you can make. It's going to feel weird. You don't normally walk around like this. But can you feel that your ears are more in line with your shoulder? Go ahead and release that finger. We don't need that finger up there. Just a visual reminder to tuck our chin. So let's bring our shoulders up, back and down, palms facing the front of the room, tailbone facing the floor, and I just want you to do those chin tucks. So tuck that chin back, and then release it. And we don't want to release it all the way forward. Just relax it a little bit. One more time, tuck that chin back, hold it here, big double chin, and release it. Last time here, chin tuck. Now are your shoulders coming up as you tuck that chin? Make sure those shoulders stay down and release it. So as we go into a lot of the moves today, we're going to come back to that point of like shoulders back and down, tuck the chin. If you're into weightlifting or if you're into any sort of moves like yoga or things like that that involve alignment, that's really important. Always try and tuck that chin when you go into those moves. A little bit of a warm up here. Let's bring our feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Inhale up. Exhale, fingertips come behind your ear. Push those elbows back, opening up that chest. Gently look up towards the ceiling. Look back down, right in front of you to neutral. Tuck that chin in. Release those arms. We're going to add on to that one more time. Inhale up. Fingertips behind the ears. Looking up. Elbows are back. Chin comes back down, gazing into neutral. Tuck that chin. Let's twist to our right now. Elbows stay back. Feet stay facing forward. Twisting through that torso. Elbows back. Come back to center. Twisting to the other side. And center. Release those arms. Last time through here. Inhale up. Fingertips behind the ears. Looking up. Shoulders back. Elbows back. Gaze comes back. Tuck that chin in. Twist to the right. Center. Twist to the left. And center. Keep those fingertips behind the ears. You're going to hinge forward at the hips. I'll show you from the side here. Come into that good morning. Back is flat. Just a slight bend in those knees. Chest is parallel to the floor. Release those hands. Clasp your hands behind your lower back. Lower your chest towards your knees. When you're in that full fold, then bring those arms away from your body, opening up that chest in full fold. Keep breathing here. Release those arms. Hands come above the knees. Bend those knees. Slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders, neck, and head. Last, come into one chin tuck here. And release it. All right, we're feeling warm. We're going to go over to a wall. So if you have some sort of wall space here, you're just going to want to have something that's a flat surface that you can lean against. No equipment right now. We're going to start by just playing with a wall surface. So I'm going to come over to a wall, and I'm going to put my right hip up against that wall. Hands together. My right shoulder, right hip are going to stay in contact with the wall. Hands are together. Now go ahead and open that left hand up and see if you can bring the back of that left hand in contact with the wall. Both of the backs of my hands in contact with the wall, looking toward that back hand. Release and bring it back to center. And you can step away from the wall for a second, warming up those rhomboids. Ear to shoulder, we're going to go right ear to shoulder first. Shoulders back and down, tailbone towards the floor. A little bit of pressure on that temple. Go ahead and extend that opposite arm, palm facing down. And now tuck that hand back behind your back and onto that opposite hip. Keep breathing here. Release and relax. Just let your head hang low, chin to chest, and just rock your head side to side. And stop in the center and go ahead and roll it up. We're going to go back to the wall one more time. This time, my left hip and my left shoulder are going to come in contact with that wall. Go ahead and start with both palms together. And now open that top palm all the way back behind you until the back of that palm, back of that hand is up against the wall. Look at that back hand. Feel that squeeze in that rhomboid in the back and opening up through that side of that chest. And release it. Let's do some neck stretches on the other side. Left ear to shoulder. Shoulders down here, away from those ears. Go ahead and put a little bit of tension in that temple. It's amazing what that little bit of pressure can do. Extend that arm here. Feel how that stretch changes a little bit. And tuck that hand back behind your back and onto that hip. Hold it here. And release it, chin to chest. Rocking your head backwards and forwards. And roll up. Right ear or right side. Look over that right shoulder. Shoulders back. Toe into the floor. Take that right hand, tuck it back behind you already. Now look down towards that armpit. And release. Let's do that on the other side. Looking over your left shoulder, trying to get my chin in line with that shoulder and my gaze is over the back of my shoulder. Left hand tucks back behind. And now look down towards that armpit. Now can you feel that stretch in the outside part of your neck? Release and relax. This outside part of your neck, this long muscle that comes here and here, warming that up right now because we're going to do a little bit of rolling on that in a little bit. All right, go ahead and grab your towel. Grab a drink whenever you need to here. I'm going to get a quick drink. And grab your towel. So my kitchen towel doesn't have any give to it. You can use any sort of towel if you want to use something with a little bit of stretch to it. Or even if you have one of those stretchy bands that has the handles on it, you can certainly use that as well. I'm going to start off just holding my towel straight out in front of me. And when I do this, my shoulders like to come forward. So I'm going to purposely rotate my shoulders back so it opens up my chest. You might want to widen your grip a little bit. Go ahead and squeeze it back. That towel comes right along that bra line. Squeezing those shoulder blades together, thinking about the elbows touching the back of the room. Come all the way forward. Once again, push those shoulders back, chest comes forward. I'm going to rotate towards the right and bring that right arm all the way back behind me. Go ahead and look back at that right hand. Pulling with tension on both sides of that towel. Back to the center. And release and relax. Go ahead and bring it back up again. Rotate those shoulders back, open that chest. Squeeze it back. Keeping those elbows pretty tight to the body, straight back. Now, even though we're squeezing back with our shoulder blades, we want to still keep our ears away from our shoulders. Straight forward again. Rotate our shoulders back. Let's go off to that left side. And look back at that left hand. Hips are still square to the front. And bring it back to the front. And release and relax. Give yourself a little shake here. Bring it up front again. Shoulders come back. Let's bring it all the way up overhead. And back behind our shoulders here. Squeezing back behind. Slight bend in those knees. Tailbone to the floor. We're going to rotate to the right again. Squeezing shoulder blades together. Think about even drawing those elbows close together. Hips are still squared to the front. Bring it center. All the way up again. Pulling out with both sides of those hands on both sides of the towel all the way down. All right, last time we're going to work the other side. Bring it all the way up. Back behind. Pull out on that towel as you squeeze those shoulder blades. Elbows get pulled together. Rotate towards the left. Hips stay square to the front. And back center. Bring your arms overhead and keep them overhead this time. Take your feet out a little bit wider. And you're going to slowly start bringing your arms back behind you. Your gaze is up towards the ceiling. Just a very gentle, slow back bend here. Hold it. Keep breathing. Slowly come back to overhead. And release and relax. Give yourself a little bit of a shake here. I'm going to take my towel and I'm going to put it down here on my mat. And you're going to want your towel to come in contact with the upper part of that shin, right below those knees. So knees, then your towel, and then those shins. A lot of our tension that we hold is in those shoulders when they're rotated forward. So I want to grab my towel on either side, slowly come up to a kneeling position, and get yourself enough of a grip that you have to push your shoulders down. So shoulders are as far away from your ears as possible. Just hold it here. Keep breathing. This is such a simple stretch, but it's one of my favorites because I find myself hunching my shoulders whenever I'm in a stressful situation. We're going to go ahead and look over that right shoulder. Keep pulling up with the towel. Back to center. Look over the other shoulder, look over the left. Try to bring that chin in line with that shoulder. And center, right ear to shoulder. Oof, I can feel that one. Rotate chin to chest, over to the other side. Left ear to shoulder. Align that ear with that shoulder. Chin to chest. One more time, look up. Rotate those shoulders back. And release and relax. Now you can stay in a kneel position here, or you can come to a seated position. Using our towel, the base of our neck. So if you have long hair or anything, get it out of the way there. Just throw it around your neck like you're done with the workout, but we're not quite there yet. Right at the base of our neck. Once again, holding it on both sides. Just go ahead and pull straight down. Tuck that chin in. Shoulders away from the ears. Sitting up nice and tall. Working in to that big muscle that connects our sternum up to our jaw. And relax. We're going to take that towel and put it at the base of our head now. See if I can do this with this microphone on here. Towel right at the base of our neck, at the base of your head, umbrellas. 2 hard balls at the base of your head, and you're going to pull straight up That towel should be on either side of those ears. Your chin is still tucked. You're not looking up. And just lift. Imagine you're lifting yourself up. Get growing another ½ inch taller. And release it. We're going to work on that part of our back of our head a little bit more on the roller and a little bit too. We're going to do one more stretch here with our towel. This is one of my favorites. So start with our first position where both of our towel ends are facing down. I'm going to keep the left side down, and I'm going to bring the right side up. So right side is up, left side is down, and then go ahead and switch hands. So you're just kind of doing a twist here. So my hand is gonna pull down, and my hand that's up is gonna come across my ear, along that glasses line, that temple line, and I'm gonna slowly turn towards the left, pulling down and pulling across, looking over that shoulder, and my chin comes slightly up. Hold it here. And release it. Both sides of that towel down again. Let's do that on the other side. So this time, right side is going to hang low. Left side is going to come high. And go ahead and switch hands. So I'm going to be pulling down on the right. And I'm going to pull the towel across my temple, across my ear as I rotate around. Shoulders back and down, chin is tucked, looking over that shoulder. Might even feel this stretch going into your back a little bit, into those rhomboids, anytime we're doing a twist. Keep breathing. All right, release and relax. You can go ahead and take that towel off. Just give yourself a couple of shoulder rolls here, forward and back. Shaking that head, ear to shoulder. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. All right, grab yourself a drink of water if you'd like. And you're going to want to grab your ball and your sock. Okay. So for now, if you have more than one ball, you can keep the ball outside of your sock for now. I'm actually using a racquet ball. If you do have a tennis balls tend to be squishier, so it's a little bit more gentle. But I like these racquet balls. They're a good size for my hand, and they're easy to clean. That's why I use these for class. But we're going to start by massaging this chest muscle. So imagine if you were doing the Pledge of Allegiance or something. It's where your hand would go kind of over your heart in this section, this meaty section, from this tendon that connects to your shoulder over here to your sternum. So I'm going to take my ball and I'm just going to start making lines from my sternum up, rolling it towards that shoulder connection. And this alone with your hand, you might think, my goodness, was I lifting weights yesterday or something? So you control the tension here. You control how much you're going to dig down into those muscles. If you find a particular section that's like, oh, real tender, whenever we're doing rolling like this, you have a couple of options. You can just hold in that section, or you can do some circles in that section. Now I'm going to go up and down, make a grid up and down here, rolling it. Anytime we're foam rolling, we're trying to realign all the fascia that is basically the coating on all sides of our muscle fibers. I have some unruly people here in class. Whenever you find a little tender section, just pause on it for a second and do some small circles. And release it. Now let's pause for a second. Let's pay attention to how that side of our chest feels. Here's the other side. Hopefully it feels different. Hopefully it's going to feel better because we're going to do this side now. So starting with those long motions from that sternum all the way up to that connector on the side. You might find when we're doing a lot of these moves where we do one side and then the other, maybe one side is more tender than the other, and you might be thinking, why? Why am I so off balance? And it could be any number of things. It could be how you sleep. It can be just repetitive movements that you do. If you're right-handed or left-handed, there's lots of different ways that we're a little bit off balance. One leg is longer than the other. If you find that tender spot, remember, do a little bit of circles here. You can do circles over this entire area too, along the length of these. I think this side's a little bit more tender for me. Now we're going to do those shorter lines up and down. So creating that grid. Now, if you wanted to add even more tension to do this, you could lay flat, prone, facing the floor. You could even do this in like a door jamb or up against a wall and really get some pressure in there. All right, release that one, relax. Do we feel evened out here? Feel tenderized on both sides. We are going to now work with our ball in a sock. Now you don't have to use a sock. The reason I like to show this with a sock is when we are working on our rhomboids, remember that meaty section between our spine and our shoulder blades? Sometimes it's hard to position that ball and get it in there. So by putting your ball inside a sock, so I just put another racquetball inside my sock here, you can kind of throw it over your shoulder and position it. Because there's two ways to do this. You can do it up against a wall. That's kind of the beginning way to do it, and it's the way I like to introduce it to everyone. And then there's also an option to come down to the floor, but we're going to start on the wall. So come back to your wall section again. And hopefully you can see I've just sort of thrown my sock over my back, and I want to position that ball in that rhomboid area. And don't worry, once you get up against your wall, you can start positioning it so it's going to be above that bra line in that meaty section. You choose what side. So you don't want to have the ball on your spine. You don't want to have it on the shoulder blades, that meaty section in between. And the cool part about doing it against the wall, there's a couple cool things. You can control the tension by how much you lean back into this. And you got the mobility of your legs here. So you can lower and lift just by bending those knees, rolling out that rhomboid section. If it's not quite in the right spot, just reposition it here. So I'm just doing mini little squats here, lowering and lifting and rolling up that rhomboid. If you find a tender section, you can pause and really push back into it. Keep breathing that whole time. You can even do little circles. So just sort of swivel here. A couple circles one way, a couple circles the other way. Now, you can also just hold it in a position and just raise that arm up over your head and lower it. Another option is to open that arm out to the side and then bring it across the center of your body. So sometimes we don't have to move the ball at all. We're just moving the muscle, and by engaging that muscle, it's pushing into that ball in different ways. So give it a couple more rolls down the whole length of that rhomboid. and then release it. Now we did one side up against the wall. I'm going to invite you to try to do the other side on the floor. If it's super intense, too much for you, then you know what to do and come back to the wall. So I'm going to come back down onto the floor. This one for me always takes a little bit of positioning to get the ball in the right place. And I'm going to start the same way we did up against the wall, just throw it over the other side. So this time I'm working on the right side here. So just lean back, lay down onto that ball, and then just position yourself. Now the bad part about the floor is we don't have the mobility of our legs so much because we're really just leaning into that ball and moving just incrementally. You can move side to side and then just incrementally scoot up a ½ inch, move side to side again. You can tell that this might be a lot more intense because you're that whole weight of your upper body. Remember those moves we did with our arms? So you can raise that hand above your head and bring it back down. Now I'm going to put my other hand underneath of my head because remember that head weighs 10 pounds here, so no need to put undue stress on the neck. Raising that hand up and lowering it and feeling how that feels in the rhomboid just by the way I'm moving my arm. I'm going to move to another little tender area. I'm going to open my arm out to the side and then bring it over the front of my body. Now, remember, if this is too intense on this side, then hop up and go against the wall for this other side. Or if you're saying, hey, this is what I really needed, that wall was just too easy for me, then you can certainly switch the ball to the other side of your body and do the other side of that rhomboid on the floor. When you're ready, go ahead and come up to a seated position here. And we're done with that ball. So I'm going to take a second here, grab a drink. You can finish up with that rhomboid either on the floor or on the wall. And we are going to grab our roller. Let's check in. How do we feel? We worked the front of the chest. We worked those rhomboids. Are we feeling we're halfway to that upper body massage? I'm going to put my roller to the side here. And we're going to be working the upper back. We're going to be incrementally moving up. And so think about positioning that roller right at like kind of your bottom of your ribs, a little bit maybe below that bra line. So just sort of recline back onto that roller. Find that position where it's right at the bottom of those ribs. Bring those fingertips behind your ears, and instead of keeping the elbows wide, like I'm always saying, keep your elbows wide when we're doing crunches or lots of moves. This time we're actually going to bring our elbows forward, supporting our head. This way we can open up our back a little bit more. So both feet planted on the floor. Raise those hips up, and you're going to go ahead and roll forward and back. Walk those feet out however you need to. So I'm pretty much going from the bottom of my ribs, bra line there, and then up over the top part or the bottom part of those shoulder blades. You can rotate to the front and to the back. And then either move up or down 1 inch or so. Once again, rotate to the front or to the back. And then do one more increment, whether you're moving up or down. And rotate front and back. Go ahead and come back to our seated position. So that roller is right at the base of our ribs. I'm going to move up a little bit so you can see me better on camera. Our butt stays in contact with the floor. Fingertips still behind our head. Supporting our head, elbows forward. And I'm starting in that low position, so the roller is right at the base of those ribs. And I'm just going to do a gentle back bend over the roller. Keep breathing that whole time. And come back up. Incrementally roll that roller up a little bit further, closer to those shoulders, just an inch or two. It's up to you how many increments you want to do. Another slight back bend. Those elbows should be facing the ceiling on that back bend. Increment, roll it up a little bit further towards those shoulders, and bend back over that roller. You might hear a couple cracks in that spine, that's okay. And let's do one more. You got one more increment in there. Back over. And lift it up. We're going to bring our roller right to the base of our neck now. The important thing with the roller is you don't want to lay your neck actually on the roller. It wants to be right at the base of your head, those two little hard areas where we were pulling up with our towel. So we're going to use it sort of like a pillow, but not supporting our neck. We're going to be supporting our head. I might need to take my mic off for this, get my hair out of the way. So right there, on that base of my head, my neck is not touching my roller in any way. And I'm just going to rotate my head, or actually shake my head side to side, like you're slowly saying no in slow motion. So towards the right, and then towards the left. The base of that head staying in contact, pressing into the roller as you're nodding side to side, shaking your head side to side. And come back to center. This time we're going to be nodding our head up and down. It's a slight movement because we still don't want it to come in contact with our neck. When you're rolling it down, think about bringing chin to chest and then chin to the ceiling. Giving a nice massage to those tendons that are right at the back of our neck. One more nod, up and down here. And you can slowly roll to your side. Now I'm going to take my glasses off. I took my mic off, I'm taking the glasses off now. So if you are wearing glasses, the next move, you're going to want to take those off, because we're going to be rolling right here along our temple line. So think about this line kind of where if you were wearing glasses or sunglasses, it'd be from that corner of your eye right above your ear. Side line on the floor, you can stack those knees. I'm going to push my roller so I'm just on the end of it here. And just lay that tempo right there on the roller, and you're just going to roll towards the side crease of that eye, and then roll back, nose going towards the ceiling, and that roller is in contact right above your ear. So giving yourself a nice temple massage to the very corner of that eye, pressing back, chin to the ceiling. Oftentimes, we kind of don't pay attention to this little area right above our ear, and that could be an area that holds a lot of tension too. One more time, front and over the ear. All right. Now we're going to stay on that side, and this is going to be a new stretch, and this one can be quite intense for a lot of people. So this is this muscle, this long muscle that runs from the back of your ear, down the side of your neck. You can even feel it, down the side of your neck, and it connects here into that collarbone and into the sternum. So there's a very long name for this muscle. I had to write it down. For short, we call this the SCM muscle, but it's the sternocleidomastoid. Sternocleidomastoid. Say that 10 times fast. So we are going to be laying on the foam roller right here on the side of our neck. Chin is going to be above the foam roller. So I'm going to turn it a little bit here. Laying on the side, knees stacked. My chin is above the foam roller, and I'm going to rotate back, and then I'm going to rotate forward, and that big muscle is going to push right in to the roller. Once again, your chin is above the roller. Rotate it back, and forward. Keep breathing when you feel that tension there. Let's go back. This time when we go forward, let's hold it for 2. So press into that muscle. Hold it here for 1, then 2. Rotate it back. Forward again. This time let's hold for 3. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and rotate back. Now you can go forward one more time if you'd like, otherwise release and relax, whatever feels okay. Okay, how was that? That one can be pretty intense for people because we're not used to rolling over that part of our neck. So let's just come into a seated position here. And do a quick release before we go over to the other side. So as a release, I'm going to take this meaty part of my thumb and I'm going to put it right into my chin. And I'm going to take the top of my hand, palm of my hand, and put it on the top of my head. And I'm going to do a deep tuck of my chin as I rotate my head forward. So tuck it in there, rotate that head forward. And come back to center. Let's do that one more time. Deep tuck. Rotate that head forward. And back to center. All right, let's do the other side then. So I'm going to move my foam roller over here. And we're going to go back to doing that temple roll, okay? So, right on the end of my foam roller. Stacking my knees, side lying here. My roller is coming in contact with the corner of my eye. And I'm going to rotate back, my chin going towards the ceiling as the roller is coming right above my ear. And then rotate forward. Now it should feel good, or it could be slightly uncomfortable. Foam rolling is often a little bit uncomfortable. We don't ever want it to be excruciatingly painful. But if you ever find an area that it's like, oh, that really needs some attention, hold it there for a second. And then slowly roll off a bit. By holding that tension, you're forcing the blood to actually leave that part of your body, pushing it away, and then as you roll off that section, the blood comes into that area. It's a little bit of acupressure there. All right, let's do that SCM on this side now. So once again, it's this really long muscle here, right on the end of my roller. Positioning my roller here. So my chin is above the roller. Rotate forward, right onto that SCM muscle. And now let's rotate back. Let's go forward again, right onto that muscle. And back. Remember that rollers in contact right at the base of the ear, behind the ear. This time when we go forward, let's hold it for 2. Come forward. Hold it for 1 and 2. Roll it back. Last time here, rolling forward and holding it for 3. Chins above that roller. For 3, 2, 1, and roll it back. And go ahead and come to a seated position. Give yourself a little bit of a release. So once again, that meaty part of that thumb, put it into the base of your chin. Deep chin tuck here. As you rotate your head forward, hold it here. And back to neutral, and one more chin tuck. All right. How are we doing? Just a couple more things we're going to do with our foam roller here. I'm going to keep it on my side. I'll bring it back over to this side here. We're going to be working this lat muscle, that big muscle that comes all the way down the side of your body here. So side lying, come in contact, that lat's going to come in contact with our roller. Stacking your knees here. Now my hand is going to come straight out to the side. I'm going to just hover it over the floor to begin with. My other hand's going to come behind my ear. And I'm just going to rotate my chest towards the ceiling. And then my chest towards that roller. Position your roller so that you can feel it in those tender spots. You can go up another inch. Rotate into that lat. And chest to the ceiling. Go up another inch. Rotate into it. Ooh, there's a tender spot. And come up another inch. We're going to stay on this side, going into a little bit different move here. So this time you're going to come full armpit, all right? So instead of the side of your body, you're going to come full armpit, still on side, stacked knees. So I'm just laying my full armpit onto the roller. My other hand I like to kind of have off of it. Both hands, palms in contact with the floor. And I'm just going to rotate back towards the back part of that armpit. And then rotate forward. So my chin is down and my chest is parallel with the floor. Once again, rotate back. Using that front hand to help you push back. If any one spot is a little bit more tender, linger there for a little bit. To the front. Last time going back here. And to the front. And then go ahead and come to a seated position. Let's do that on the other side. So we're going to do lat, and then that armpit release. Who knew your armpit needed a release, right? Let's do that lat again. So side lying, stacked knees. That big part all the way along your side here. Rotating it back. And coming to the front. incrementally move that, roll that roller up another inch. So I started low, you can start high and work low. You can start low and work high. The idea is that we're just going to find each segmented part of our lat and roll it out. And if there's a segment that's especially tender, spend a little bit more time there. Rotating back and then forward. Rotate it up again. Ooh, I can feel it here. Now, something that comes up a lot in foam rolling, especially when we're doing a big muscle like our lats, is, Sarah, I don't feel it in my lats. I feel this strange radiating feeling going down my arm, maybe all the way to my hand. If you feel something going all the way to your hand, ease off of that, all right? You want to ease off of it and bring it back into a less tender position, because we don't want that discomfort to radiate away from the muscle. We want it to start centralizing back into the muscle. So it might radiate a little bit out, but we don't ever want it to come all the way down our arm and all the way into our fingertips. So we don't want it to go out, we want it to come back in. So if you do feel something radiating, take a little bit of time off of that. You can even come back to it later and see if it's less radiating, centralizing more, because that's what we want to hear and that's what we want to feel. All right, full armpit this time. So starting with that full armpit in contact, rotating back, and then forward, chin down, chest parallel to the floor. Pay attention and see if one side is more tender than the other. You might start to be a detective, sleuth it out, and figure out, gosh, do I sleep on that side? Do I do something repetitive on that side? A couple more rotations here, back and forward. And release it. All right. Our last move, well, laying down, at least, with our foam roller. This one you might remember when I did my neck workshop. I'm going to put the roller, we're going to be laying down on our stomachs, but the roller is going to be kind of like coming out at an angle, and you want the roller to be coming in contact with sort of this tendon part, this meaty part of where our pecs attach to our shoulder. So it's coming out at an angle. I'm going to put that right in contact with the end of my roller. So that meaty part of that connector. And I have it on my right side. I'm going to have my right hand just hovering over the floor. Back is neutral, gazing down at the floor. Go ahead and rotate your thumb towards the floor. And now back to palm facing the floor, just hovering. And now thumb facing the ceiling. So our roller isn't doing any of the moving. We're just moving that arm. Thumb towards the floor. Flat palm, and then thumb towards the ceiling. One more time, thumb towards the floor. And towards the ceiling. Bring it back to palm. This time you can have that palm down onto the floor. My other hand, I'm going to put it underneath of my shoulder, kind of like we're going to get ready to do a cobra. And I'm going to use that hand to push off, just to deepen that stretch, and just pushing that right shoulder connector into the roller. How high you lift up is up to you. How much you press into the roller is up to you. And release and relax. We're going to do that on the other side. So go ahead and switch your roller over to the other side. And then come to laying down. coming in contact with that tender part, those tendons that connect to that shoulder. Left hand hovering here. Get it nice and tucked in there. Thumb towards the floor. And palm hovering, thumb towards the ceiling. And back to palm. Keep rotating this. So come down. And then up. It's amazing how such a small movement can make you produce such a big feeling. Come down. And up. Last time here, thumb down. And up. Palm can come all the way on the floor. Other palm underneath that right shoulder. And you're just going to push up. Looking up towards the ceiling. Pressing that shoulder connector into that roller. Keep breathing. Release and relax. Whew. All right. Let's come to all fours. Come to all fours here. Hand can be on the roller, but we're actually going to be rolling out onto our forearms. So think about having your arms like this. So start with those wrists right there on the roller. Think about having those knees right underneath of those hips. Go ahead and roll out now. Thumbs are facing the ceiling. Head is hanging neutral between those arms. Go ahead and tuck chin to chest. Tucking the tailbone towards the floor. Trying to keep those knees right under those hips. Hold your stretch here. Go ahead and come back up to all fours. Hand can be on that roller. This time we're going to go into that position, but think about putting your arms like I Dream of Jeannie style. So you're crossing your arms like this. So roll that roller out. Crossing those arms. Walk your knees back if you have to bring those knees right under the hips. Roll that roller out, tucking chin to chest. Hold it here. Now, keeping your elbows in contact with the roller, you're going to come to a prayer position. So elbows in contact with that roller, palms together in prayer, hips over knees, chin is still tucked, head between those arms. See how that changes that stretch a little bit. Press those palms together, and now slowly start looking up towards those palms. Feeling that stretch in those rhomboids. Release it and go ahead and roll it up. You are done with that roller. Just a couple more stretches here. Grab a quick drink if you'd like one. All right. So go ahead and come full prone here. Hands come out to the sides. Let's bring our right hand in, right underneath that shoulder. Bend that right knee. Flex that right foot. Keeping the palm of our left hand flat into the floor. I'm going to use this hand to press off, and I'm going to flip over so my foot is coming in contact with the floor. Looking up towards the ceiling. Just hold it here. Now if you like a little bit more, go ahead and raise that hand up. And a little bit more, you can tuck that hand back behind you. Hold it here. Let's reverse that. Hand comes up, back down under, and then roll it out. Back to those T-arms. Let's do that on the other side. Left hand comes underneath that shoulder. Left knee bends, left foot is flexed. Go ahead and roll towards that outstretched hand until that foot is flat on the floor. Looking up at the ceiling here, hold it here. If you'd like to, you can stretch that hand up, looking up at that hand. Or you can tuck that hand back behind that hip. And reverse it, hand comes up, back under that shoulder, and back down. Press back, child's pose here. All right, one more stretch. We're going to come back down prone again, full prone. I'm going to keep my right hand bent here. I'm going to take my left hand, tuck it under that arm, tuck it under my chin. Now I'm going to take my right hand and tuck it back around my hip and try and square my shoulders in towards the floor. Hold it here. Tops of my feet in contact with the floor. And release and relax. Let's do that on the other side. Left hand in contact with the floor. Right hand threads under. Square those shoulders into the floor. Take that hand, tuck it back behind. Push those shoulders so that they're both facing the floor like two headlights. And release and relax. Press back, child's pose. And come to all fours here. And come to a kneeling position. Now, if you have the long foam roller like the one that I was using, I'm going to do one last release, one last move here. It's just an alignment stretch. It's a great way to sort of open up that chest one more time. If you don't have one of those big foam rollers and yours is a little bit smaller, you can put a pillow under your head or a pillow under your hips. But the reason why I like this really long one is it's pretty much the length of the body. So you can sit on the end of your foam roller and then slowly lower yourself back, aligning your spine all the way down that roller. Palms come out to the side, facing up towards the ceiling. Both feet are flat on the floor. And just let your ribs open up, your chest open up, your spine naturally align all the way down your foam roller. And if you'd like to, go ahead and bring both arms over head like a goalpost, the back of your hand coming in contact with the floor. And close your eyes if you'd like. Inhale and exhale. Now you're free to stay in this position as long as you want. If you're ever really stressed out at the end of the day, you don't have time to do foam rolling or anything else, jump on your foam roller and get into this position and just let it all melt away. To get out of this position, I like to put both hands on either side of the roller, and I just sort of scoop my butt off to one side and then come to a seated position. It doesn't have to be pretty. So thank you so much for joining me today for the stretch and roll class, focusing on our neck and our shoulders, and we hit those rhomboids here. Take a couple deep breaths. See how you feel. Hopefully you feel like you had a whole upper body massage, learned a lot of new moves or a lot of little tips that you can bring to your classes or that you can do on your own. And I hope to see you again sometime.